Hi guys, today we're going to learn about scientific notation. So in this section I will write numbers in scientific notations or go backwards, write scientific notation to whole numbers. I will also evaluate expressions like really large numbers or really small numbers. So let's go. Okay, so scientific notation. The key is in scientific notation when they're giving you a whole number, or in scientific notation, are you making it bigger or smaller? That's the key in solving scientific notations. And then the next question is, where do I put the decimal? You put the decimal place between a number of 1 and 9. Not 0 and 0, it has to be 1 and 9. And then then the next question is, well, for the exponents, do I use a positive or negative exponents? So when putting it in scientific notation form, if the original number you started with, is big, really big, you use positive exponents. And then you're going to go to the right. So you have a really big number and you want it in scientific notation, your exponent is going to be to positive, so it's going to be 10 to the 7th, so you're going to move that places to the right. If it's a really small number, if you started with a really small number, your exponent is going to be negative. So if you had like 0.00005, it's going to be times 10 to the negative something. So I will go over the problems. I'll go over problems, and you'll see this is quite simple, not too difficult. So the first one says write the number in scientific notation, and I think this is like the land area of an Earth, but it's a really big number, so I want it in scientific notation. Where do I put okay, so ask yourself, the first step is this a big number or a small number? It's a really big number, 57333, it's a big number, so it's going to be times 10 to the positive integer, so it's going to be a positive number. My next step is, where do I put the decimal place? Am I going to put it here or here? Now, this might work. This does not work if I put it here. It does satisfy the idea where you put the decimal places between a number between 1 and 9, but if we put it here, it's not going to include the 5. So where would I put it next? I would put it right here. That's where I would put my decimal places. So it's going to be 5.73 times a positive integer. So it originally started here, right here. So you could, and then you move it here. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's going to be a positive 7 because it's a really big number. So that was simple. What about this really big number? Why isn't it erasing? Okay, it just, hold on. Let's just write. Okay, so let's say you're given this big number. 9, 4, 6, and there's exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 zeros. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want to put this in a scientific notation. So is this a big number or a small number? It's a really big number. So we're going to use times 10 to the positive integer. Now, where do I put my decimal? Am I going to put it here or here? I'm going to put it here because it's between a number between 1 and 9. We can't put it here because if we put it here, we're going to be missing this 9, and it'll be wrong. It's going to be 4.6 times 10 to the something number, and it's not this whole number. So you're going to put it right here. And then we said how much? We're going to use positive. So here's our decimal places. We started here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to be positive 12 because it's a really big number. Why doesn't it erase? Okay, let's just start with a new page. What about this number? We have 0.1234, 4 zeros, 3, 4, and then we have 899. I want you to put this in scientific notation. So ask yourself, is this a big number or a small number? It's a really small number because it's 0.000, so it's going to be times 10 to the negative because it's a small number. Next step is, where do I put my decimal place? I'm going to put it, where do you think I'm going to put it? You would think you would put it here, but we want this whole 899, right? So I'm going to put it right here. Right there. So it's going to be 89.9 times 10 to the, so we started here, we're going to go from here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 6. That's how you write it in. So this is a really small number. That's how you write it in scientific notation form. What about this one? Now we're kind of going backwards. We have it in scientific notation. Now I want it in just regular whole numbers. So we have 1.5 times 10 to the 7th power. So what does this equal? It's in scientific notation, so we want it in whole numbers. Notice that our 7 is positive, so we move it to the right. So it's going to be 1.5, and then we move it 7 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your answer is this big number. 6. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a really big number. So yes, that's why they put it in scientific notation, because they don't want to write this whole big whole numbers. Let's see here. What about this one? We have 9.0 times 10 to the negative 5. So this isn't scientific notation, and we're going to put it in regular numbers. So since this is a negative exponent, we're going to move it to the left. So what does that mean? it's going to be a really small number. So here's 9.0. We're going to move 5 places to the left from this decimal places. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your answer is a really small number, and it's going to be 0.123490. Yep. Okay, now I think what we have to do is, now we got to evaluate each expression without a calculator. So we have 1.2 times 10 to the 7th times 5 times 10 to the negative 3. So what you don't want to do is write it in whole numbers and then multiply. You don't want to do that. So what you can do is multiply the whole number. So your whole numbers is 1.2 and a 5. So what is that when you multiply 1.2 times 5? You could do this in your head, so it's just 6, right? Or 6.0. Or I'll just write it as 6. And then it's going to be times 10. Now, see this 10 7th and 10 to the negative 3? What do we know about our exponent rules? We are multiplying, so we must be adding. So you got to do 7 plus a negative 3, which is what? 4, 10 to the 4th. So now it's 6 times 10 to the 4th. I don't want it in scientific notation. I want it in whole numbers. So here's my decimal places. So we're going to move 6.0 to the 4 places to the right. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So my final answer is this big number, 6, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let's do okay, what about this one? It's 6.0 times 10 to the 8th divided by 3.0 times 10 to the negative 3. Let's see here. So we are dividing scientific notation. So what I would do is do the whole numbers. So we know, what is 6.0 divided by 3.0? It's 2.0, right? So we know our whole numbers, and then it's going to be times 10. Now, what do we know about exponents when we're dividing? We are going to really subtract the numbers. So 8 minus a negative 3 is what? 2 negatives becomes positive, so it's 9, 10, 11. So it's 2.0 times 10 to the 11, which is, when you move this places to 11 places, you're going to get this really big number, and it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's going to be 11 zeros, so it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There. Let's see, a little bit more. Okay, now we got to evaluate each expression round to 3 decimal places. So my first problem is you could actually put this in the calculator. So we have square root of 4.5 times 10 to the 9th. let's see, what you can do is, yeah, you can put it in the calculator. Yeah. If you put this in the calculator, you're just going to get this really big number. 67082.03932. And then the problem asks us round to 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3. So this is my third. And then you look at the neighbor. If it's greater than 5, then you don't change it. So my final answer is 67082.039. There you go. Let's do this one. So you have a cube root, 6.3 times 10 to the 4th. Let's see, how would I, okay, first off, I don't need to use a calculator for this one. Let's evaluate 6.3 times 10 to the 4th. That's 6,300. I mean 63,000. But you still have that cube root. How would I write this in exponential form? I would write that as 63,000. Raise that to the 1/3 power. You could put that in the calculator, you're going to get 39.79057. It says rounded 3 places, so here's my third. Is my neighbor 5 or greater? It is, so we have to round this to 1 place. So it's going to be 39.791. Good. So that wraps it up for this section.